feel so much pressure. It feels
I'm
like
thinking about chopping mine off on Tuesday. Maybe not that short, but I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. I think that you could definitely do it for sure. You have a pretty oval face, so your face can handle a lot of different looks.
I'm just so scared. My hair is my identity.
That used to be how it was for me, and then I was like, you know what? It'll grow back. But you're also married too. You've got to. He's not going to leave you if you cut your hair. Hopefully, he doesn't leave you if you cut your hair.
You wouldn't.
Okay. I was like, is your marriage okay?
I would kill him.
I made an assumption.
No.
Yeah, no. If he loves you, he'll stay with you,
Stick around.
even if the hair is short.
He's
Exactly.
bald, so.
And see, you stuck around. So listen, it's a two-way street when it comes to hair, no hair. So you let him know I said that.
I
Just
will.
kidding. Yeah. It's marriage advice from Jordan, in case you need it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Need it.
This will be fun though. I look forward to this every month now.
Yay.
Because the boys, listen, we love the boys, okay? But here's the thing. They don't know anything about pop culture. And so I have to spend time explaining it to them. And then they have to think about it and they're like, well, that's just like the situation, like, and it's the correct answer, of course. You're like, well, that's just stupid. Yeah, that's just dumb. It's like, well, that's the truth. But I feel like it matters. I feel like it matters because you have a large generation of people, mainly women, looking up to these people.
Yeah.
And I think they deserve to be exposed for what they are. So
they deserve to be exposed for what and who they are. Well, I mean,
exactly.
You think about, I think it might have started in the 80s, definitely in the 90s. Things like, what was it called? But it was like E Tonight, where they would do a breakdown of celebrity gossip for the week or the day. And people just grew have such an addiction to that because they were fascinated with this world that they couldn't be a part of. You're like this much closer to the celebrities that you adore, but it's just that ongoing drama. And then of course blossomed reality TV with that.
Right.
So,
right. At this point though, because there's now so much media around celebrities that we actually have a chance to see what they're like. And more people are starting to realize just how messed up they are. Because think about this, the more cameras you have on a person, like the more of them you're going to see.
Yes.
Right? And you're going to see the bad too.
Oh, yeah.
Mostly the bad.
Well, and now, because it is such a hot phenomenon and people love it, people love to live vicariously through these celebrities. Now they've come up with storylines. And so they have to have some sort of pot stir. For instance, like Real Housewives, every season has a storyline and they have to have a pot stir to like keep the stuff going, keep the storyline going. And if it falls flat, then they've got to find a new one. So now it's like a little scripted. But back when like the Kardashians first started, I mean, that was unscripted. That was just full on like, come live in our house with us.
Yeah.
And Jersey Shore. They didn't need scripting for that show.
No, I honestly haven't seen it. I've only seen the people in the media, but even knowing who those people are, it's like, yeah, they're eccentric on their own. Like there's no way you can fully script that.
You have to go back and watch. It is so ridiculous. It is
really. I don't know if my brain can handle like being melted that much though.
It's like a train wreck that you cannot look away from. And you're like,
oh man,
I lived like this? Because it was just the Snooki bump, all of it, the JWoww, the blowouts, the Pauly D blowout, Gym Tan Laundry, GTL, like it was just a whole thing. And people were just so fascinated that these Guidos and Guidettes, like that was their lifestyle. And you just didn't understand that people live like that.
I don't know how. Like it just feels like a bad life. I don't know. I think I also ask myself that with people that have like the super long nails.
Yes.
They got like all the charms on them and they're like pointed out like this and they're just ginormous, and I'm like, "You must not have enough of a life to need to function with your hands." Like, there's I can't draw any other conclusion.
The only thing that comes to my mind with those people are, how do you go to the bathroom?
Like, it's not sanitary! Like, imagine,
No.
like honestly, it's a TMI. Imagine your nails are so long that if you reach down to wipe, your nail hits the pee. Like, can we just talk about that? Like, isn't that kinda gross? Like,
It's very
yes, no.
gross. It's very gross. But yeah,
It's not it's not cute either.
it's
It's
not
not cute.
it's not, efficient or logically, economical when it comes to daily
No,
activity.
it's not. 'Cause these sets too, like, they probably cost at least 100 to a couple $100.
Especially if you're getting, like, all those rhinestones and diamonds and little bangles and stuff hanging off of them. Yeah, it adds up.
Why do you want it on your nail though? I don't understand
Well,
why. I
why I
don't
mean,
get it.
I have long nails and, like, I love to get my nails done, but imagine, like,
Those aren't those aren't like
this
those aren't
long.
like long, the what I'm talking about. Like, those are like very, almost like very classic feminine
Yeah,
kinda
yeah.
long. I'm talking like the egregiously long, like, this is too long for
Like,
normal life.
looks like it's like the length of their finger. It's like
Yes,
an
yes.
extension of their finger.
No, that's exactly it. There's a lot of things that we don't understand, but this will be a fun episode because we're gonna talk about obviously, Megan and I could talk for a while about other things, but we are gonna talk about pop culture.
Whee!
Yes. I always get excited for these because I know that I can embrace my feminine side and my guilty pleasure of all the
Yeah.
celebrities, but I do feel like it does serve a purpose and it does matter because these people, whether we think that they're smart or not,
Mhm.
they do impact the culture, and so they're worth talking about.
Yeah, 100%. They're in our
Yeah.
lives whether we like it or not.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Um, that's it's funny you say that 'cause, I've never heard my dad talk so much about Taylor Swift because he loves football, right? He loves football, and he's just like, "Man, I just kinda hope that she doesn't make it, I hope that, like, she gets delayed or, like, something," where he is literally the definition of whether you like it or not, Taylor Swift is there, and you cannot escape her. She's no longer for teenage girls, it's now for men that love football.
Well, the sad thing is that it's kind of a backlash. I've seen more like, "Why are you posting this?" on Instagram with accounts like Barstool Sports and Old Row, um, even I think Breitbart posted something about her the other day, and all the comments were like, "Why are you posting this? What is this? Why are you posting this? This has nothing to do with news. We don't care about her. We don't care about what she ate that morning. Like, let's move on to some important things like the actual news." So, I think
Ye
a lot of people are actually like, "I'm so sick of seeing her." And I'm like, "Finally!"
You're like, "I'm so done, I can't stand
I
this."
have newsflash, I have never liked her. I never have. Like, mad respect for what she's done in her career. Great, grand, wonderful. She's just never been for me, and I just don't like the I think Candace Owens went on a rant about this the other day on
Well, she normally does about Taylor
this is true.
Swift, so this is not a surprise.
But what she said is something I have been saying for years, which is, this whole time she's been trying to appeal to young girls. And while I appreciate the songwriting aspect of that because, well, I am a songwriter, I don't like using your celebrity status to date celebrity men or guys and then turn around and write a spiteful song about that celebrity. Like, I think it was John Mayer was like, "I only went on a date with her like twice and then she wrote this terrible song about me. Why?" So it just I don't like the example that she has set for young girls. It's like, "Oh, well, you can just go date around and then write a really mean song about somebody.
Yeah, I think too there's a level of Taylor Swift's so big that she gives a level of justification
Yes.
for what she's done
Good way to put it.
and can kind of villainize the
Yeah.
men, in these situations. But the thing with John Mayer, only on going on a couple dates, she was probably what, 18 or 19 years old at that point. I mean, she was pretty young.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like she is stuck perpetually in the teenage mindset because that's when she got famous. I feel like it's the same thing for, celebrities like Justin Bieber,
Mhm.
right? Some of them kind of end up making it out, but very few and far between, and you don't hear about them because they're normal. um, but I don't think Taylor Swift. I don't think she has grown up. I don't, um, because like it makes sense for a teenager to write a song like that. Like, yeah, it's kind of stupid that it was 2 dates and she kind of smeared John Mayer, but that was a pretty immature teenager move,
I agree.
right?
Yeah, I agree, and
But
I can't speak to her newest music because obviously I don't listen to her, um, but and to me, all of her songs sound the same. But from what I understand, like, her last 2 albums were very deep, I think, lyrically. Um, I can't tell you what they said, but it seems like her songwriting has gotten a little bit more mature as far as the content of the song and the context of the song. Um, but yeah, you're right. There's little stunts she pulls that are very still like reminiscent of being a teenager and being in high school. But again, I'm tired of seeing her on the news and in football and NFL. I'm like, can we just play football?
yeah.
Ah!
Well, I don't really care much for football myself,
I'm not
but
either.
I remember when the Chiefs won, and I posted on my Facebook. I was like, man, I was really hoping Taylor Swift would lose. That was because I was just so tired. I was just so tired of seeing her. Um, but I would agree with you. I think her last album, again, I don't think all of her music's that fantastic. I think she always has like one or two good
Yeah.
songs, right? I don't think it's much different. Yeah, I don't think there's much else. I did an article on Antihero a while back that I basically said I think this is a lyrically deep song
Mhm.
that really speaks a lot to her own issues.
Mhm.
But I think what's frustrating though is that she's aware of them, but I don't think she actually knows what to do with them. I think that's part of the problem. And I think the reason why, and give me your thoughts on this. I think the reason why I think she is worth talking about at this point, and why I think it's actually significant is because at this point she's almost 35 years old. All right, you're mid 30s.
Mhm.
All right, and her stick has worked for a long time. Why? Couple reasons. Her fan base is already really young, which helps. Um, Secondly, though, we've also extended adolescence. So she's been able to get away with this behavior for a long period of time.
Yes.
But Taylor Swift is now getting to the age where people are starting to notice that she's not a teenager anymore. They're starting to wake up and be like, oh, she's not 25. Oh, like she's almost 35. And this is a new era. This is a new era for
Yeah.
her, where I think it is possible for her to have some level of decline in her career because people might actually end up seeing through it and getting kind of sick of it. That's kind of what happened. I feel like with Selena Gomez, like she's in her 30s and people are starting to notice, like, wait, this made sense when you were like 25, maybe. Again, it shouldn't even make sense for 25, but again, we've extended adolescence. But now you're acting like this and you're responding to comments on TikTok and stuff, and it's weird. You're acting like you're 15.
Yeah.
Um, and so there is part of me that wonders, is Taylor Swift gonna feel the effects of her age, or is she not, and she's gonna think she's gonna end up like Madonna? Like, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
She's very smart. I think she's smarter than a lot of people give her credit for. Now she is surrounded by a team of people that she has probably hand selected within that smart, that know how to keep her relevant. And I think because of that, she used country music to propel herself. That's just a known fact. A lot of people in country music are like, "Cool, you."
They saw it coming
They
that she moved to pop.
Yeah, they were like, "Cool, you used us. Well, go do your pop thing, we'll be over here." Um, but what you said is that she appeals to young girls, but you have to think who her first fan base was that she established is now either the same age as her now, older, or a little younger. So
Mhm.
they've also grown up with her. So they're used to this behavior.
Mm.
It's no different to them. If you're a giant Swiftie and you've just grown up with her since the beginning and you just adore her, this is nothing new and you okay this behavior. Now everyone can evolve and everyone can change and start to notice that. And I do think that a lot of people are like, okay. Like for instance, I work with this really sweet girl and she loves Taylor Swift. I mean, adores Taylor Swift. And even she was like, okay, I need a break. I just need a break. There's just
Mhm.
too much of her in the news and I just can't handle it. And a lot of it is just stuff like I don't care. I don't care about her dating Travis, what's his face. I don't care.
Travis Kelce.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's just annoying. And I think people are just getting annoyed. It's like, okay, we got it. Jeez. Move on. Move on.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
at least.
No, I feel that. Do you think now with the idea with the older audience, and by older, I'm just referring to people, within our age
Mhm.
range. How long do you think she can ride the nostalgia? I feel like that's really it, where it's like, oh, we remember like some of her old stuff, was really sweet. Like it was nice. Like I liked some of it. It was just there was something very innocent about it. And then she's become more and more conniving with time. And I'm just wondering how long that older audience will ride the nostalgia before they kind of just get over it and they just want to listen to good music. I don't know.
I feel like Taylor Swift is gonna be the Meryl Streep of music. I don't know if you know this about Meryl Streep. It's like no matter what movie she's in, she's always gonna be nominated for an award because she's Meryl Streep.
Mm,
Um, and I I think that's gonna be how Taylor Swift is. Like, she's just gonna ride this out. She's not gonna speak up when it's time to speak up. She's not gonna say stuff to get into herself into a huge controversy. The only thing that she's doing right now is just being annoying in the news and dating this guy out in public. That's it. But it's just the fact that the media is just blasting it all over the place. Um, Now her involvement in, like the LGBTQ stuff and then, featuring drag queens and her music videos and things like that. I mean, she's riding the coattails of the social agenda that's being pushed. They're using
yeah.
her, and I'm not gonna go into that conspiracy theory of like her being this con thing that the Democratic Party is pushing. Like, sure, she could be, but in essence, they kind of all are. Um,
Yeah, I mean, they're pawns to use. I
they
mean,
all are.
they have social influence, so why not?
Yeah. But I think that she will play into whatever is going to serve her in the moment. And the album where she did push like all the drag queen stuff and her videos and in her performances, like, where did that go? It's not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
So now she's just playing this like ethereal, you know, pretty fairy princess type vibe who's dating an NFL player and she's so dainty, but she loves to go to the football games. And it's just so out of the box, out of the character for Taylor Swift to be such a big NFL player or into NFL players because look at it's like, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, I just have such a mixed feeling because like I care and I don't care. Like I care about what she's doing in some regards, but in other regards, I just don't want to
Well,
know what she's eating for breakfast.
yeah,
And
and I see what you're saying, and I agree. It's like I care when it involves an agenda being pushed onto a younger generation or something that's going to influence how somebody votes in an election. Like if you're pushing who you're voting for in your social media, that's millions of people. Not saying that they all adore you, but a lot of people are not smart enough to go, well, I don't care who she's voting for. I'm going to vote who I vote for. But because
yeah,
people
because
are
we're just
so
we're such a herd. That's our issue. We're just like, oh, we just kind of fall like we're stupid like sheep. Honestly,
yes,
I mean, even kind of scripture implies that, the Lord is our shepherd. He's our shepherd because we can't look after ourselves. And so we're just, following him around. But if you don't have the Lord as your shepherd, then you're just following anyone else that looks like a good person to follow.
yes, yeah, and I that's when I have a problem. Is when celebrities do this and they come out and they're like, "Oh, vote for Joe Biden." I'm like, "Okay, why? Tell me why."
Yeah, I don't know why we would listen. Why would we listen to Taylor Swift on this issue? I don't see her being heavily involved in politics. How can she be? I mean, she's busy touring. She's a musician. I don't really feel like she should have anything to say. But I think she'll end up saying something at some point. I don't think she's endorsed Joe Biden for 2024.
I didn't
I
care.
think part of the reason why she's probably holding off is because doesn't know if he's going to be dead or not by the time he makes it there. I don't know.
Or she's holding off because everyone made a big stink about it. But you know what she hasn't spoken up about is Toby Keith.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
let's go ahead and get into that.
she well, first of all, RIP. RIP Toby
Mhm.
Keith. Toby Keith,
What happened with him?
so he if you don't know who Toby Keith is, he was a country megastar from the '90s until up until last week, which his music will live on, his legacy will live on. But he just recently died of stomach cancer, which he was diagnosed
Mm.
at the end of 2021 with, and he did go through treatments, radiation and chemotherapy, but he lost that battle last week on the 5th, February 5th. And he has been kind of this patriotic country symbol throughout his career, especially in 2001 after 9/11. He released this song called Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. And it was just like this anthem of just, yes, America. We're gonna stand
Yeah.
together. Like
Yeah.
that was a song that
Crush him.
everybody was like, yes.
Right.
Didn't matter what color you were, where you came from, what job you had, like, everyone would hear that song and be like, "Yes, America."
Back when America was united
Yes.
and we all didn't like terrorists.
Yes, exactly.
Pretty obvious stuff, but
Yeah,
yeah.
you wouldn't, common sense, but, no
Right.
one has that anymore.
No.
Um, but, a lot of country stars like Carrie Underwood posted to their social media and, like, them with Toby and expressing, condolences and their sadness about his
Mhm.
passing, but Taylor Swift didn't, and she started in country music. In fact, Toby Keith helped found her very first record label, Big Machine.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Here, I'm gonna pull up
Mhm.
this article that you sent
Yeah.
me. Yeah, here we go. Um, yeah, so she didn't speak up about it, and were they close at any point?
Well, I do know that he
Taylor
played a
Swift or
part in her I don't think he discovered her. I think that he did push her into that label. Now, I don't know if she's not saying anything because of the whole, like, fallout with Big Machine Records and then Scooter Braunson
that
buying out her stuff.
that wouldn't be enough though.
I
Like,
agree.
you can still you can still talk about somebody without, like, completely agreeing with the record label. Like, that's a business
Yeah,
thing, you know?
I agree.
Toby Keith was a legend, so that she should have at least said something. I think it shows gratitude.
And again, this is her it could be because he was such a patriot. He loved his country. And anything that these leftist artists put out that might suggest them, being friends with or in support of somebody who was, a USA American loving patriot, oh God, oh heaven forbid.
Yeah, we can't
You
talk
can't
about
talk
that.
about that. Uh,
Yeah.
but a
Well,
lot of
oh, go ahead.
people were calling her out. Like John Rich in
Yeah.
this article. John Rich was like, "Where have you been?"
Yeah. Well, for the people listening, John Rich, he put on Twitter, he said, "Where is Taylor Swift? When is Taylor Swift going to share some words about Toby Keith, the man who discovered her, got her the first record deal? Taylor, where are you today? Hashtag Toby Keith." And then it was a retweet of Matt Couch, who I have no clue who that is.
Yeah.
Um, he said, "Going to be interesting to see what she says about Toby Keith. Without Toby Keith, there wouldn't be a Taylor Swift. Toby signed her to his record label and gave her her start. Hope she recognizes that today, like she should." Um, and I'll just read just a little part of the article here. It says, Toby Keith helped kickstart Taylor Swift, gaining over 30,000 likes. A fan jumped into the comment section. They're talking about that tweet. With some agreeing with Rich. One fan wrote, "Wow, thank you for posting this. I had no idea. I knew she moved here from New York and there was some controversy about her dad buying all her music to make it go #1 or something like that. But this is the first time I've ever known that Toby Keith signed her RIP."
Mhm. I had heard that too about her dad doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I read that he discovered her. I'm not gonna confirm that because I don't know, or speak that it is like fact. But I mean, we just saw, or you just read, multiple people said that he discovered her. Now he could have, but the fact that she hasn't said anything, I mean,
Right.
that's
Well,
that's
she's
disrespectful.
I would agree. And whether he initially discovered her or not, it's very clear that he was a part of the process in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty obvious. Why do you I know you kind of talked about Toby Keith being, very patriotic and not quite woke and liberal.
Mm.
I wonder if do you think there's any reason why Taylor Swift might not speak about it?
Because this doesn't fit her agenda. Um, I everyone knows. I mean, Toby Keith played the pre-inaugural party for Trump when he was elected. The welcome celebration, the Make America Great Again welcome celebration. He played at his pre-inaugural party. And I think anyone that is in association with Trump or, you know, the USA loving patriot, they're scared of him. They're scared of the I don't think they're scared of the person themselves. They're scared of the backlash that they're going to face.
The mob.
They're scared of the mob. And I think that is exactly why she hasn't said anything because she's on such a, well, she was, she's on such a positive trajectory of being a household name right now. Even you just said your dad doesn't like Taylor Swift, but yeah, he's talking about her. She's a household name right now, and they're gonna hold on to that for as long as they can. And if she says anything about Toby Keith, I can't believe you're supporting somebody who supported Trump. I can't believe you're doing this, blah, blah, blah. She's so afraid of that backlash, or her team is. Who knows? She may be in the corner going, I really need to say something, and they're not letting her. We don't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I think it's a shame. I think it's shameful that she hasn't said anything yet, if he's played that significant of a part in her career. The start of her
Yeah.
career.
Yeah. I think that's a fair explanation of what could be happening. I think it just goes to show too that, greed and power is a real big motivator,
Oh my gosh.
to stop you from doing the decent thing or doing the right thing. And it would be hard to believe. I know Taylor Swift does a good job at playing the down to earth woman, and to a certain extent, I think there are probably some elements of her that are. She seems like she likes to cook. She seems nice. But at the end of the day, fame will change you. She's no Keanu Reeves. All right, let's just put that out there. She's a mega pop star, and she relies. Drama is the fuel to her fame. Like that's all she's got. But it has to be the right kind of drama. And Toby Keith's saying something about Toby Keith would infuriate the wrong crowd. She's fine with infuriating conservatives or moderates or anyone that just finds her annoying, but she cannot annoy her fan base.
No.
That's where it's game over.
No. And I think it could also be because it's election year.
I think that could be part of it. Could be.
Could be part of it, because if you're
yeah,
if she is planning to say anything about endorsing somebody or encouraging people to either vote independent or vote blue, like saying anything about Toby Keith is going to turn those voters away.
Which is so ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Such a dumb thing that people would rely that heavily on a celebrity endorsement to determine who they're going to vote for. I mean,
yeah.
And Taylor Swift, part of it's not her fault, but she's really not in touch with any of the voters because she's a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
The economy doesn't affect her like at all.
Mm-hmm. No,
it's everyone on the ground.
No, it doesn't affect her. And she rakes in so much money from touring that she's able to afford paying the people that she needs to pay. When there are a lot of artists that are struggling to even sell out a 500 cap room and pay for their tour. Because let's face it, music sales are not where people make music or make money anymore when it comes to music, even songwriting. Like, it's just touring. And the only way to make that money back from, PR, marketing, the recording process, like the only way to make that money back is in touring. The only way to make it back to pay back your label is in touring and in record sales, but also to get money and profit as an artist in your agreement, in your record label agreement. Like, touring essentially is like, and songwriting is the only way to do that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have you come back on and explain the music industry to us a little bit. That'll be a lot of fun. Well, we'll do it. We'll have to, like, I don't know. We'll have like music March. I don't know. We'll find.
I like that. March Madness.
Yeah.
March Madness.
March Music Madness.
You know who else plays for the Chiefs? Patrick Mahomes.
Who? Oh, yes. I have to be honest. I do not know that much about him.
I don't know
at all.
I don't know very much about him either, other than
I don't know
he's won 2
anything.
Super Bowls now.
Yeah.
I do know that a lot of people do not like his wife or his brother.
Do you know why that is?
I think his brother is just really annoying. From what I keep seeing and reading and hearing, his brother uses Patrick's status to like try and get in places or to get paid for things. He's like
Is this Travis? No. It's the other one. What's the other guy's name?
I don't know his brother's name, actually.
But you're saying that Travis Kelce.
No, I'm talking about Patrick Mahomes' brother.
Oh, Patrick Mahomes' brother. Okay.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes' brother. I can't remember his name. Hold on. Let's see if I can figure it out real quick. Patrick Mahomes, Randy Martin, his parents divorced.
Sad.
Oh, cool. It's not telling me what his brother's name is.
But he does have a brother.
He has a brother.
Okay, he has a brother. We know that. and he just uses
Jackson Mahomes.
Jackson Mahomes.
Yeah, everyone says that he's very annoying, and in fact, like, there was some controversy that happened with him and Brittany where they did something together online, and everyone was like, "This is cringe," and
Like, what do you mean? Like something like more like sexual
no,
or
like, they tried to pull some stunt for, um, follows and likes and things like that.
oh
I don't remember exactly what it was because I think I looked at it once and was like, "Yeah, no." But
yeah,
ever since then, she has been distancing herself from his brother, Jackson. Um,
that's fair.
yeah.
I get that. Okay, so Patrick Mahomes has an interesting brother, and he's married to Brittany Mahomes, who apparently we just found out is a soccer player.
Yes. Apparently, she was, like, a big soccer star.
Yeah. This is why women's sports doesn't do that well. No one knows. No one knows who they are. No one
I
knows.
think she was a soccer star in college, from what I understand.
Oh, okay.
And
Well, even more so then. Yeah.
when they first, like, came on the, I guess, scene as, like, a hot young couple of NFL or whatever, I do remember following her for a brief moment because I saw that she was into fitness. I
Yeah.
am also into fitness, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I like that. I like that she's promoting a healthy lifestyle to, women out there and whatnot." And, recently she was on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Yeah. No, let's talk about that. So she's married, she has 2 kids. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up that article. Boom.
But
Okay. There it is. So Brittany Mahomes, she decided that she was going to go ahead and do a Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover. So let's go ahead here and see. Okay, so Brittany Mahomes, Sports Illustrated. I can't speak today. Sports Illustrated swimsuit debut deserves all the flaming hot fire emojis, according to People magazine. On Thursday, days before the 2024 Super Bowl, where her husband, Patrick Mahomes, and Chiefs will play against the San Francisco 49ers, sadly, the Chiefs did win. She was then, I know, sad stuff. She was named the 2024 rookie for Sports Illustrated.
yeah.
So the mom has, so she has 2 children, and here are the photos, and I do actually think that this is a good description, with the sexy standout being a Mugler halter neck number that shows off her toned figure thanks to massive cutout that plunges below her navel. So there's a lot of boob happening in the center. It's really high cut. So there's not much left to the imagination
I mean,
in
it's a
these.
it's a Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition.
Oh yeah.
That's
So
for sure.
yeah. Um. So there she is again, just the same swimsuit. And here's a quote that she's apparently something that she said. She said, "I want women to feel empowered, to always be yourself, love yourself, and feel confident in whatever you do." And I think Sports Illustrated swimsuit does too. Um, so that's her reasoning. That's her reasoning there. Go ahead and bring us back into the studio if I can remember how. There we go. Yeah, so this article had everyone kind of buzzing, and I think there was some strategicness in putting this out before the Super Bowl, to give some buzz for it. So keeping them relevant, again, it's PR, it's good PR too. So they did a good job there. Credit where credit's due. But of course, there was some controversy about this because she's a mom of 2. Um, she's married as well. She's married to Patrick Mahomes, and people kind of felt like this was a little bit inappropriate. And then there were some people, obviously, people like Brittany that are like, no, be empowered to do this. Love yourself. Megan, what are your thoughts?
Um, I'm sure that there have been mothers in Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. Um, I think the timing of it is a little strange, right before the Super Bowl. I did read somewhere that there were other athletes and models that have auditioned or sent in, their catalog or portfolio to be in Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, and they just never gotten it. And I read that they found it to be unfair because of she just got it because of who she is. Um,
Yeah.
I I kind of agree.
Okay.
I kind of agree with
That's
that.
fair.
When you have all these women, like that's their profession. That's what they do. They model or they're athletes and they athlete turned model and they focus on, you know, that is their job. That's their work. That's how they make a living. And they've been sending in to be on this a dream of a cover for so long or in the magazine itself. And then they just say, oh, well, Brittany Mahomes is gonna do it because she's hot right now.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
I can find
I mean,
to be hurtful if I was one of those women.
yeah. It's tough. I do agree with you to a point. This is me kind of being a little bit hard. Like if I'm playing it from the other side, like if I were doing their media and doing their casting, I'd be tempted to do the same thing
Oh,
because you want the sales to go up
yeah.
and you want them to be relevant. And so that's part of sounds bad, but I feel like it is kind of just part of the business of
Yes.
some people just get picked because they're more relevant or they're more hot right now.
Yeah.
But I think, but what I think bothers me a little bit about the whole empowering situation of like I'm so empowered and I want women to feel this way is I'm a photographer.
Mm.
All right, I've been a photographer now for 10 years. There is just there's no way that those images are not brushed up, beautified, all those things. And I am sure Brittany, it looks like Brittany on her own, even if they looked at the photos without any touching up, like she has a good body.
Yeah.
All right. She's beautiful. She's got a good body. Um, but to me, if you're trying to like give this empowering message, about, women and, you can be a mom and you can still, take care of yourself. I don't think that that's the avenue to do it. Like I would pick a different, for example, I would pick like, oh, if I really wanted to do that, maybe I'd consider Aerie instead, for doing something for their products where that goes along the lines of, you know, bodies that are not touched up,
Yeah.
that are real and that are beautiful. That's good stuff. But that's just kind of like sexiness for men to drool over. And then plus you're also married too. And so it looks kind of weird. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's if we're talking about being a mom of 2 and being married, no, it's not appropriate. It just isn't, uh, for an average woman. Could you imagine if a woman that just the average good old American woman who
Yeah.
works out really hard, she takes her nutrition very seriously, and she's got a rock hard body just like Brittany Mahomes. Could you
Mhm.
imagine if a conservative, God-loving woman was like, "Yeah, I'll put on this bikini and get in Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition." There would not
Well,
be the same reaction that she's getting.
it probably wouldn't, but you know what happened recently? They did have the conservative dad like magazine where like all these conservative women did pose in bikinis. Like they did it themselves and I found that to be stupid too. I was like, you're going against our values here. What are you doing? You
I
idiots.
mean,
See, this is why I feel like Republicans just step on themselves. They do the same thing as Democrats. They just step on themselves. But it shouldn't be appropriate. Like I think it's been normalized by both sides now. Like I'm so angry that a conservative company did that. I thought that was so stupid.
well, and it's no diss to the women that did it. Like they're all very beautiful, good job. You're great. You're beautiful.
Good job with that. Yeah.
Good job, God. You did a good job on these women. Um, but no.
Yeah.
No. No.
Yeah.
It was so cringy, and I know a lot of people could say, like, "Well, you're just jealous." No, I'm not. I'm not. And,
Girl, I have seen some of the photos, like, just in you in normal clothes, like, you're very fit.
well,
You're a very fit woman.
thank you. Well, I just like, the photos of Riley Gaines in that one, I thought were tasteful, but she's an athlete.
Yeah.
She's not, and then they did another one of a competitive shooter, and she was fully dressed. And I'm like, "See,
That's not too bad.
that's a way to do it." But there was, like, another girl in, like, a American flag, skimpy bikini, and I'm like, "Okay,
It's
yes,
just
conservative women can
it's
be
just
hot
cringy.
too. It's just this is not the way to do that." It's just a
Yeah.
little cringe, a little cringe.
Yeah.
And you can't complain about stuff like OnlyFans or girls that go on the whatever podcast and act like total idiots if you're gonna do that. Like, you
Yeah.
can't you
No, there's a
can't.
huge double yeah, there's a huge double standard that's going on there. Um, and there's a couple things I think of. Like, one, you can have a great body, right? Or you can work really hard for your body.
Yeah.
You were telling me that you're into fitness, so you work out, you take care of yourself, you know? Great, that's awesome. Like, it's good stuff. But does that mean that everyone should have unfettered access to look at it?
No.
No.
Your body's
The answer yeah, the answer is no. Um, and, like, with the men that I've talked to, the men that are a bit more, dare I say, slightly more classy, is like, they don't want you showing showing off to everyone, right?
no.
Like, they want some of that for themselves. Like, I mean, that seems fair. I mean, I know the left would say it's kind of misogynistic, but I don't think so.
I don't
If it's an intimate, special relationship, you don't want everyone being able to see that.
no, you don't. And especially when you've made a vow before God to another person that you're gonna share your body with them, your entire being with that person, your flesh until the rest of your life. Um, what I mean, the phrase "sex sells," and I know that that's she probably got a big old check from doing it, and there's her husband going, "Way to go, honey, way to make that money." But at the same time, it's like, how can you sit there and go, "How does that not bother you, Patrick?" It's like,
I think it's just the type of man
and
that you marry.
yeah, and he could be thinking, "Well, she's coming home to me. That's why it doesn't bother me." Which I can understand that look, that take on it. Like, well, I know that she comes home to me, and I know that she's a great mother to my children. Like, that's one take on it, but it's also like, it's gotta bother you, like, just a little bit.
I mean,
If it doesn't, what are you doing? Kind of
it's a fair
yeah,
point.
it's like, well, does it not bother you because you're doing things maybe you shouldn't be doing?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think you're making a good point there. I think that feminism has basically just put men into submission to feminists of like, you
Yeah.
can't say, even if he is bothered by it, he can't tell her not to do it. Why? That's misogynistic. That's the patriarchy. That's him controlling her body. He can't do that.
But
Not
how would
publicly.
people know about that conversation? She would have to come out and be like, "Well, Patrick said that I couldn't do it." Then that puts their marriage on blast. That puts him on blast. So, I feel like if they have such a strong relationship and a strong foundation in their marriage, if he was uncomfortable with her doing that, I feel like he has every right to tell her that without her being like, "Well, you can't tell me what to do." Uh, yeah, you can.
Yeah. Yeah. And the
Yeah,
and
he
that's
can.
and the truth of the matter is we don't know. We don't know what happened, where he might have just told her that it was really okay,
Yeah.
and maybe then bothered, secretly on his own, but again, I don't think people in Hollywood put good safeguards on their marriage. I think that's just the situation. To me, that's a safeguard that's been broken. If your wife is, doing that and, posing with a bunch of other men, like that would make any guy uncomfortable. Being like, "Oh, okay, bye, I'm going after this photo shoot." And, it's sometimes the photographers are really like creepy old men, but they take good photos. But they're creepy old men and or young men, and they're looking at you, and you're doing all these sexual poses in front of them. Like that would, I don't know, like that would bother me. Like that would be understandable if he was bothered by that. Um, but again, with someone like Patrick Mahomes,
Ma
it's Mahomes, not Mahomes.
Mahomes. Yeah, Mahomes.
Mahomes. With Patrick and Brittany, listen, I don't know how long the marriage will last. I don't think that was a good idea. I think it's weird for your kids to see you as look back and see you as a sex icon. I think every child should want to look back at their mother and just be like, wow, she was so beautiful. I don't ever want them to be like, oh wow, she was so sexy. Like that's weird.
But also they can go back to dad and go, "Why did you let mom do that?
Like that's weird. Don't do that.
Didn't that not bother you, dad?"
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. All right. Moving on. All right, we have our last one.
Hey.
Real quick. I don't think this one will take quite as long, but we gotta at least talk about it a little bit. That King Charles has cancer.
Oh,
That's what we know. And
no.
I know it's sad. King Charles. I have a lot of thoughts on King Charles as a whole, but um, we don't have time for that today. So yeah, I'm trying to remember what his cancer diagnosis is. Um, yeah, so the Buckingham Palace didn't say. They just said he's been diagnosed with a form of cancer.
Hmm.
So we don't know what it is. There is a lot of talk, which this sounds really bad, but I am kind of excited about it. Like if King Charles dies, then we would get King William, which is kind of exciting because I kind of like William a little bit
Is he
better.
next? Is he next for me?
Yeah, yeah, he's
Oh,
next.
wow. He is next,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh gosh, and what so wait, then we would have Queen Kate.
yeah. We'd
We
have
would
Queen
have a
Catherine.
king and a queen?
Well, Queen Consort technically. But yes, we'd
I say
have
we, like we live there.
yes, we, we, uh, England. They would have King William and Queen Consort Catherine. So that would be very exciting because we had the Queen for so long, which is super cool. And then Charles, he's pretty. I mean, he's getting old, and he's been on the throne now for maybe 2 years, maybe.
Yes, that
Um,
sounds about right.
yeah. So not long at all. So you have this really long stint, super short, and then you have a young, really young king on the throne.
Yeah, because I was looking at this from Time magazine. It says, obviously, the next in line is William, and he
Uh
will
huh.
likely play the most prominent role in the king's absence. So he's
Yeah.
about to have to step up big time.
Yeah. Oh, for
Even
sure.
like with him, I guess, going through treatment and being taken care of by the best of the best doctor.
Yeah.
Um, that is very
Well, who knows?
interesting.
Charles could make it though.
What does it say? William will return to duties after a week off. He postponed some responsibilities while Kate, Princess of Wales, was undergoing a planned abdominal surgery for a non-cancerous condition.
Yeah, I remember that was a thing for a little bit that she had to go to the hospital.
Was she having a tummy tuck? Is that forbidden? Like, can the royals not
why does she need a tummy tuck? Have you seen her?
I know,
Like, she's
she's
very
really little.
thin.
But I've
Yeah, I
always
don't
wondered that because I saw a picture of her recently. She's beautiful. Like, she doesn't wanna do anything to her face, that's fine, but with the phenomenon of injectables, it's just are they not allowed to do that? I've always wondered that. Or is it just
I have
frowned
no idea.
upon?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I would say they probably are. I would say they are because you think about Meghan Markle, like, we don't know for certain that she's had work done, but
Like, it's supposed
I imagine she's just there's a good shot that she has just because she's been in Hollywood and, that's a thing. I don't ever think though that Princess Catherine would, and I think the reason why is because she does represent such elegance that plastic surgery is very much associated with Kim Kardashian, changing your face, looking like a monster,
Yeah, the Frankenstein. Um,
Yeah.
I don't I think it's just a choice. I think you're right. I think it's just a sophistication choice of, um, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Tradition. Just being very, very, very traditional in the ways of the royal family, and you live by example, and, I mean, look at the queen, she lived for a very long time.
She sure
A
did.
very long time, and that's probably why she just didn't put that kind of stress on her as far as, like, aesthetics, like her look. Like, obviously,
Right.
she had people dressing her to the nines. She was the queen.
Yeah.
As far as, like, cosmetic aesthetics, I just think she didn't worry herself with that kinda stuff. And as an aging woman,
No.
like, that's and now in this time of that we're in with people like the Kardashians, and it puts this an insane amount of pressure on women to bottle up their youth and put it in their face.
Yeah.
So this
I agree with that.
I think it's great that they don't do it.
Yeah, me too. But also too, their culture is a lot different. Like, I don't think that's something that's impressed upon them the same way that it is for us. Like, their standard is just different. And probably in a good way of like that's just not what's important. But this generation is very much no, we got to be young for as long as we can and try to defy age, and it doesn't end up working out.
No. No.
Especially if you're white, because white skin it does crinkle. It crinkles faster. It crinkles faster.
Just get
That's just
very
the truth.
we get crepey.
Yes. Yes. It's just genetics, it's ethnicity. You might as well just age well, do the, was it is it Audrey or Aubrey Hepburn? I don't
Audrey.
remember.
Audrey
Audrey.
Hepburn.
See, that's how much I know about her. But there's pictures of her aging, and I think she's beautiful. And I think she just said, "I earned every one of these," something along
Mhm.
those lines. I was like, "That's really lovely." Let's go ahead and just bring in our. This is so fun. It's
Oh
so fun.
gosh.
I know, yay! So Prince Harry, oh boy, his dad is dying. So this is according to New York Post. He's gonna go take Archie in a little bit to visit cancer-stricken King Charles. Um, yeah, so he's gonna go ahead and take them, and a publicist, I do not know who the publicist belongs to, but is thinking that maybe the health crisis has, quote, prompted Harry to have a wake-up call about what is important in his life. And so the article kind of keeps going. He's gonna bring his children, and
Meghan.
no mention of Meghan whatsoever, really. That's such
Said
a good
she's
though.
not welcome.
Yeah, I
Pretty
don't think
sure she's not welcome.
I don't think she would be. Why would she? She kind of destroyed all of them. Um,
Wow.
but here's the thing too that I'm kind of I'm kind of curious about with this, and I'm curious to see what plays out in the next couple months. the first thing I know is that there's no way that Harry is happy in his marriage. I can't imagine being happy in that marriage, with a controlling woman like that. And she basically just played with all of his emotions. And like, yeah, Harry is weak, and spineless, but he still doesn't deserve to be treated like that. But he also made his own decisions as a man to leave his family. But no matter, he's not in a great marriage. And then he's going to go to the UK with his children without Meghan for how much time? We don't know.
What if
But
he
there's a part of me that
just
wonders, maybe the wake up call will include will include time away from Meghan and time with his family, so they can be like, "Hey, man, how's your life going? Because it doesn't look good." So
What if that happens? Like, what if he goes? Now look at us being all like, "Oh my god, celebrities."
I know we're such hypocrites,
So
but here we are.
this is so I'll tell you this. In the 90s, young girls in America, like, loved Prince William and Harry. Like, this has just
I
been an
heard that.
ongoing thing. My sister had a poster of Prince William in her bedroom, like,
I've
all
heard of
mixed up
that.
in her Spice Girls shrine.
He was nice looking when he was younger.
Yeah, but this has just been an ongoing thing. Like, everyone loves the royal family. They love to talk about the royal family because we don't have that here. And there's just something very whimsical and fantastical about talking about royalty. But
Yeah.
I just that is crazy to me. Now I'm, like, putting it together, like, what if he goes and he does get, like, some sort of intervention with his family finally because they have him by himself. They're like, "Finally,
With
we
the
have you
kids.
one-on-one. We can freaking talk some sense into you and let you look at how much she's ruined our family."
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think it's possible. Like when your family, like one of your family members is on the verge of death, that does make you kind of reconsider of like, "Oh, maybe I should
Yes.
have spent a little less time just trying to destroy my family." Granted, again, I don't think King Charles is a terribly great human being. I really don't.
Wow.
I don't think he is a great father either. Like, to be honest, I just don't see it. But I think some of the claims that they made were just wild. The racism and like how they were treated. I don't fully believe that. I just think that his father was probably just kind of cold and removed.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
probably the best I can think.
Well, you have to consider as an American woman, regardless of your race, when you're part of the royal family and you want to marry an American, that's a big deal. Because normally you're
Yeah.
supposed to marry within, the confines of royalty, essentially, sometimes. Now, Kate Middleton was not really royalty, but she was still, like, a proper English girl that was raised on proper English traditions, like, I'm sure that she could have been Black or Asian, but and still have been raised in those traditions, and they wouldn't have had a problem with it. I don't think race has anything to do with it. I think it's the fact that she's American.
Oh, for sure. I mean, for sure. Like, we don't have any sense of tradition. Like, we're a whole country that's just built around not having one unified
Yeah.
tradition. I feel like the closest that we probably get is the 4th of July. And even that's starting to fade. Um, so yeah, she not only is she American, but she's stuck up. She is
Entitled.
very selfish. She doesn't understand how to serve. Like, she just does not understand the culture.
No. She doesn't understand, like, the tradition. It's
Hmm.
tradition. Like, there are certain things that you have to do. It is your duty as the royal family to uphold that tradition. And I think she knew exactly what she was doing when she got into that relationship with him. I think she knew exactly what she was doing. Every single move that she made, she was calculated. I think she knew exactly what she was doing from the get-go. And that was to tear him away from his family, not accept the traditions that we're talking about. Because even as an American like me, I know that there are traditions to uphold, even if I don't know, my freaking small fork on the right, all the way to the right. You take etiquette classes to learn that stuff. And I don't think she wanted to put the time and effort into those types of etiquette classes and lessons because she's biracial. I think she
Yeah,
used
that's what she's hiding
I
behind.
think she's
She's
using that
biracial.
because she just didn't wanna do it.
Yeah. No, she kinda wanted I think she wanted to have it her way, and that just didn't happen because I think her marriage serving each other is probably hard enough. With a marriage where you have to serve each other and serve an entire country, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot of pressure and for her to claim that she didn't know what she was signing up for, yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yes,
No,
you did.
she did, and she knew what she was doing. She knew she wasn't gonna stay there
Yeah.
that long.
No, you knew exactly what you were doing. You knew exactly who you were dating. You knew exactly what you were getting yourself into, especially when he asked you to marry him. You knew
Yeah.
all the stuff that was gonna come to follow. You knew it all.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I watched the Meghan and Harry documentary, and this was a year or so ago. Um, but there's, like, even, like she even, like, took video, like, of her proposal. Like, who does that?
Like, her personally took the video?
Yeah, like, it's kinda, like, blurry a little
My
bit, but
god.
it's weird. Like, everything's weird. It's like it feels like a weird show. I don't know how people still like her. I think that people are starting to like her less, but I do know some hardcore liberals that still think that she's pretty cool.
I just don't like that we spell our names the same.
That is well, if it makes you feel better, I was shooting a wedding. I'll end us off with this story. I was shooting a wedding one time, and someone said, um, you know, "Oh my gosh, you look so much like Meghan Markle." And I literally just froze. I was like, and she was like, "No, it's a good thing." She's like, "It's a good thing," because she could realize that I might not like Meghan Markle, and I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Thank you," because I wasn't trying to cause any issue. I was
Right.
like, "Oh, thank you."
Yeah.
But I turned away and I was like, "Maybe I do need plastic surgery." I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I didn't think that. I was just like, "Oh, okay, fine." Um, but this is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Audience will have to let us know. Do you like pop culture? Is there anything that we should be talking about? Anyone that we're
Yeah.
missing in the news?
Or maybe just specifically on our girl talks, maybe that they
Yes,
want questions answered, you know?
that's
I've
right.
been married almost
I
9 years, you can ask some marriage questions.
Yeah, and you can ask me those same questions, and I'll do like the anti-answer and give you just the worst
Yeah,
possible answer to the question.
yeah, yeah, do that. It's like, bring
Okay.
in the questions and we can
Yeah, but we're not gonna call it a juicy girl talk. We can't do that to ourselves. We can't put ourselves in that box.
no.
'Cause every girl they say every single YouTube video title, I swear, "Another juicy talk." I'm like,
Or
"Are
spicy.
they all juicy?" Spicy,
Yeah,
yep, it's juicy or
juicy or
spicy.
spicy. I'm like, why do we have to be fruit or peppers?"
What do you can be what you want, Megan.
I'm gonna
You'll
be
just
what
be
I
a
want.
good
I don't identify as a pepper.
That's right. Yeah, maybe we'll do an episode like that, where we answer some good questions that are
Yeah.
more girl related that we just can't do with the guys. Um, but you might have to make sure you guys check out Megan. I guess it's just a show. It's not a
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
It's called On the Subject. You've got to follow her on Instagram too, because she does a lot of great kind of throwback videos. She recently talked about doodle bears, where I died when I saw that because I loved doodle bears. I remember it's like saving up my money to get a doodle bear, and that you could wash it and then draw more on it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, you have to check out Megan. Make sure you follow her. We'll try to remember to put her links down below in the description of the YouTube video. Make sure you follow us on Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, all the things. Yeah,
All the socials.
all the socials. All the socials. Megan, thanks for being here, and we'll catch up next time.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.